Well, season 1 is over. Only thing that's left for us to do now is to round up everything that happened and get ourselves ready for the following season and get ourselves ready for life in the National League. Easy, right? Hi there, how you doing? Welcome to my FM24 save here with the My Career series. Thank you for joining me in today's video. My name is Stu and you are here with me in episode 8 of the save with our first club, Spennymoor Town, and you're here with a season review. And if you're excited to see not just how the season went, but also to see how we're going to go about getting this squad ready for the National League, then don't forget to hit a like on that video for me, and don't forget to leave a subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so, and you'll keep up to date with all the nonsense that does come out of this face. So, if you haven't watched the save up until this point, I will remember to put the playlist up there just to catch you up. You can see on the screen though exactly what's happened. We have got a couple of trophies to our name after one season, so let's get to it and round this season up, shall we? So, in terms of how the season has gone with transfers, obviously we brought in a lot of players. It's the first save of a non-league save. You're going to bring a lot of players in. There's going to be a lot of turnover. Now, there's one player who we actually spent money on, and that's embark. We got a good rating for him. The best signing has been considered to be Carlos Richards. I did mention about this actually. I would concur. He has been sensational for us. 15 goals, 18 assists. That's a really good return. Nathan McGinley was apparently a brand new signing as well this season, but that's not one we were in control of. Now, we have lost him to Aberdeen, but he was one of the best players this season. Even though he's meant to be inconsistent, he was very good for us. Also good was Charlie then, and we will do what we can to try and get him back next season. He was outstanding on loan. Will Harris was apparently a new signing as well. Again, nothing to do with us, but he had a really, really good role off the bench and could be a starting striker once Glenn retires. We also had Jonathan Mitchell in as a new player. Again, nothing to do with myself, but he was our goalkeeper for the season. Joseph Yarney was to do with me. Apparently, we didn't get a good rating with him, but he was a solid defender for us. I'm not going to say that was a bad one. Reece Staunton, nothing to do with me, was a solid backup choice. Yassine Bel El Mahani was a player who I brought in. Could have been better, but definitely did play a good part as well and gave us a bit of experience at 29 as well. Harrison Burke was a late addition. He is a player who we brought in because we just need more cover at centre-back for this coming season in the National League. And he's probably a National League North defender, but he's a top-end one, which means he'll be absolutely fine in the National League. Dan Tolson came in on loan. Ended up becoming one of our default central midfielders once Dyson left. Did a good job with it. George Cooper came in as a backup defender. Did okay, but once we brought in Burke, we didn't really need him anymore. Matt Dolan wasn't a player who I signed. He just was here. He did okay when we needed him. Lewis Beckett I brought in. We won't talk about him. He was pretty poor. And these two don't exist to me. No point looking at transfers out. No point looking at loans out because these players are not anything I've got anything to do with for the most part. I don't really know any of them other than Corey McKeown. Didn't like him. He was okay to begin with, and then he sucked. And Solihull Moors ended up taking him, and I don't think he did much better once he went there. Season results-wise, in the league, we smashed it. We were expected to finish in the playoff places. We did that with about, I don't know, 10 games to spare, something stupid like that. We'd confirmed that, and the media prediction was third. At one point, he did change to second as well, and I forgot to show you that bit, but he did change to second, so remarkable season. Only one loss as well, which is pretty good going. 13 draws in there too. A goal difference of 88. You can see in here the run. There's only that one loss against Southport. Other than that, it's wins and draws all the way. I mean, when you say that your worst period was 4 draws in a row, you know you've done pretty well in a save. Don't think we're going to have it quite all of our own way in the National League, but we will do our best. Glenn Taylor, our top goal scorer with 45 goals because of course he was, and the board were delighted. FA Cup, we were, I think, expected just to get to the proper FA Cup. We got to the third round in the end, got knocked out by Chelsea after taking them to a replay when we played them at home. So we managed to get that replay to Stamford Bridge. That gave us £500,000, or even more than that, in fact, in gate money, and that carried us through the season financially. We'll be hoping to do similar next season, but we had a good run up until that point. We did need to play Scarborough Athletic twice, and funnily enough, they keep coming up, don't they? But yeah, excellent. Really, really happy with that. I was a bit disappointed after the first result to get battered so much, but it was Chelsea. FA Challenge. Oh, look, Scarborough. We did beat them in the final. A pretty good run. It's worth pointing out, Rochdale, National League. Altrincham, pretty sure they're National League. Yes, they are. So, Rochdale, National League. Altrincham, National League. Forest Green Rovers, National League. Barnet in our league. Solihull Moors, National League. We played a lot of National League teams in this competition, and we beat them all, And if you look, Rochdale will beat comfortably, Altrincham will beat comfortably, Forest Green will beat comfortably, Solihull Moors is a bit more tight. We earned that very well, and it does give us an indicator that maybe, just maybe, we will survive quite nicely in the National League, hopefully. Here's our moments to remember. All of them were great. Warrington getting battered 7-0. I mean, that was fun. Sure, that was fun. Match to remember was the FA Cup against Gateshead. How it's not the draw against Chelsea, I don't know, but fine, game, you do you. And goal of the season was Ben Al-Mahani with a long-range goal back in October. Can we still view this goal? Yes, we can. Let's have a look and see how good it was. Nathan McGinley with the... Is it Nathan? I've forgotten his first name already because he's already leaving. I can't remember this goal very well. It was a while ago, obviously. So Ben Al-Mahani gets the ball here. He's already had the ball passed to him. He's just going on a run here. That is a nice goal, to be fair. And he's run from up here as well. That's the thing. We've scored a few like that, to be fair. I'm happy for that to be given. That's okay. Financially, they're the base marks for the kind of run with the club. None of that really means anything at the moment, but it's all good to see. Our reputation hasn't changed from one star. I would like to have thought it might have gone up by half a star, but we'll take what we can get. And those are the shirt sellers. So we've got Taylor, we've got McGinley, we've got Ben Al-Mahani, we've got Richards, and we've got Mitchell. Well, McGinley's leaving. Richards isn't. Mitchell might. Taylor isn't. So two of those might be going. Hopefully they'll forgive us. Right, now the team of the season. Tactical style wing play. For once I actually aimed for that. It just normally gives it me automatically. So this is apparently the best 11 of the season. Mitchell in goal, fine. Ledger, Yarni, Beals, McGinley. Yeah, absolutely don't disagree with that. Ross and Tolson by default because we had no other central midfielders, sure. Lennon, Fletcher and Richards with Taylor up front. Yeah, bang on the money, I would say. Accolades. I actually won a few, which is quite nice to see. So I actually won a bunch of Manager of the Month awards and Manager of the Season. Get in there, boys. Club awards. Fans Player of the Season was Glenn Taylor. 35 years young now with 7.4 rating. Was sensational for us. Young Player of the Year was Carlos Richards at 19 with a 7.3. Also Signing of the Season. We already know about Goal of the Season. Top goal scorer, of course, was Glenn Taylor with 53 in all competitions. Most assists with 18 was Carlos Richards. Most Player of the Match awards was Glenn Taylor, as you'd probably expect. Also with the highest average rating. The most passes per 90 was Nathan McGinley. So that's competition awards. We got two. Player of the Season, Glenn Taylor. Who else would it be? And Vanarama National League North top goal scorer. Obviously, we know that's Taylor as well. Now, the record breakers. Again, take this with a pinch of salt. First season of the save, I should say. A lot of these are going to be setting the benchmark again for the save to come. So, again, take it with a pinch of salt. There we go. That is the season well and truly updated. So, there we go. Happy days. Now, what we now need to try and do is get the club in a position where it's going to be absolutely fine for the National League proper. I think we've already got a good foundation. Now, the problem is, as I mentioned in the last video, we need to work out of this group who we're keeping, who we're not. Now, anyone who's 2 stars or less is going to be going. JJ Hooper, hopefully, will be going and leaving the club because I've revived the deal for... Where is he? Liam Ravenhill. It's not as much money per week, but it's more than the original offer. But we will be paying a good chunk of our transfer budget for him. But at the moment, we're not paying any more money to anyone else. I think 22 years old. He's not inconsistent. He likes big games. I think he's a really, really good signing. Yes, he's more of a passing-minded defensive midfielder. I'm not that bothered about that. I just want someone who can play in the team, and I think he'd be a good signing for us. JJ Hooper, who I've actually put into the under-18s team, hopefully we can just upset him enough that he just wants to leave. That's usually my way to go in situations like this. I'm going to criticise his conduct just to upset him a little bit, and we'll try and get him shifted out. So we're hopefully going to have a defensive midfielder come in, as well as an attacking midfielder, just to bolster the options, which means we don't need to worry too much about certain players leaving, certain players not staying. For example, someone like Ramshaw, he's dead to me. We don't need to worry about him anymore. We can just let his contract expire and use his wages for something else. McGinley obviously going is a blow, but he is on a fair whack a week, £1,900. That can go towards another player. We'll have a look at the players who become free agents, see what happens. Mitchell's a bit of a problem. However, whenever I've called upon Popple this season, he's done a half-decent job. So if we have to go to Popple, I won't be too upset about it. But I'd rather not have to do that. Popple is also on a fair whack a week for a backup goalkeeper, as I mentioned before. We'd be quite happy for him to move on as well. But if we can re-sign Mitchell, I wouldn't be against it, because he is more than good enough to be a National League player, a good National League player at that as well. So we'll see whether we can potentially do that. Central midfield, we've already got one spot fixed, hopefully, if that deal does go through. Obviously, there's a few moving parts to kind of fix that. We probably still do need a central midfielder, but we've still got some money to pay people for players. So I think the priorities at the moment is sorting out who in this squad we're actually keeping. That's going to be the real question. So, for example, Callum Ross is not going to be a player who's going to be kept, for example. We're probably going to be losing Callum Ross. We know we're going to be losing Cooper and Tolson. We desperately need more than just the one midfielder we're bringing in. We need at least another one, maybe another two. But we know that, so that's absolutely fine. Goalkeeper, we probably do need one, but we could probably get by with what we've got. These guys down here need to move on. We need to get rid of these. We're going to just let their contracts expire. That feels like the fairest thing to do. We're going to keep Beals. We're going to try and get him on a contract. I might try and get Popple on a contract, but I want to reduce his wage if possible. Lewis Beckett will probably let go. I think that was a bit of a wasted transfer. Isaac Fletcher, we're definitely going to try and keep. We'll get rid of you. Bradley James, I mean, it depends what happens with the other two keepers. We might keep him, we might not. Michael Ledger, I'd like to keep. I have said I'll look at a contract for him now the season's finished. And Nathan McGinney's obviously going. Rob Ramshaw, he can go. There's a mix there that we're happy to let go. There's a mix there that we're not happy to let go. So I do need to have a proper look through this and work out what we're going to do. But one thing's for sure, I think the squad is going to look vastly different. But there is going to be a nucleus of players who we know from this season that we can trust. So I'm going to go away and have a bit of a play around, and we'll have a look at exactly what we think we're going to need. Okay, I've skipped ahead a little bit just to put a little distance between the season review part and the transfer part, and also just to see if we've got some signings come through. Now, I've got one bit of good news up there, but I've got another bit of good news here. We're getting an expansion to the stadium, so it's just going to be 500 seats, but still, that's better than nothing. It is going to cost us half a 100,000. I was going to say half a million. It's not half a million. It's nearly £50,000. So it's a chunk of money. It's not a massive chunk of money in the grand scheme of things, but it's a massive chunk of money for us. So, but more seats in, more people paying for tickets, and also if we then manage to get another promotion at some point, we're part of the way to making sure we can use our own stadium. However, the good news is this guy. Now, this is a lot of money, but we are going to get more money coming in once we get to the point of players leaving. So I'm willing to spend it because this guy is going to be a superstar for us. Alex Ferguson is going to be joining us at the conclusion of the season. I don't think that's going to be now. Yeah, there we go, 1st of June. So it's not very far away at all, but Alex Ferguson will be joining us. So I need to go through this. I've not done a squad planner for this save yet, but I will go through this and have a look and see what we need. So bear with me 2 ticks. Okay, I've sorted out the squad planner for the season. I've included some of the players that we've got who are no longer going to be here as well, so we can really have a look. So, immediately, goalkeeper to begin with. At the moment, both of them are going to be out of contract very soon. So, Stevenage are currently looking at Henry Popple, so we need to keep one of them. I'd prefer to keep Mitchell. He's a known quantity, but Popple would... Popple wouldn't generate a fee, but he'd give us more wages to play with, so I am tempted to do that. Jonathan Mitchell, we can't even offer a contract at the moment. I'm going to leave that as it is at the moment. Right back, we know we need one at the moment. Joseph Yarni is the only backup we've got, but he is one of our starting centre-backs. At the moment, our starting centre-backs are looking quite healthy, but we do need a 4th one because Nathan McGinley is going to be leaving the club. So that is obviously a huge, huge problem. And it also means we need another left back as well. So backline definitely needs some attention being put into it. Defensive midfield does as well. Ravenhill hopefully will be joining us. Harrison Burke is here, but I don't know. I have put another bid in for Ollie Dyson just to see whether we can get him in and see if he will come and play for us. And if he will, that's another great option, especially on this side. But then these two aren't going to be here. He's going to be going back off his loan, and I'm not putting another offer in for Callum Ross. He's going to be leaving. So that will obviously weaken us. That still looks okay on this side. It's over this side that will be a problem because, yeah, we'll only have those two there. Forward line, absolutely fine. Maybe another winger just for cover, but the problem we have got is Charlie Lennon is leaving us. Now, if I can get his loan extended, I will do that because he's been sensational for us. The problem is he was here on a work experience loan, and I don't think we're going to get that again, so we might have to pay for him. We might even lose him completely, but if I can get him back, I will get him back. Attacking midfield-wise are going to be perfect because Isaac Fletcher and Alex Ferguson, not that one, are going to be sensational. One thing I will add just down here is I am going to pop Isaac Fletcher down here because he can do a job down here as well. So we'll pop him there as an option. Right, then we have got striker, and this is fine. We don't need to do anything about striker unless Glenn Taylor falls off a cliff, and at that point we'll assess. So work-wise, what we need to do is exactly work out what we're doing with goalkeepers. One right back, ideally better than Ledger. One left back, ideally better than Staunton. One central defender. This side, if we get Dyson in, don't really need to do anything. At least one defensive midfielder more than what we're looking at, maybe a loan. One or two wingers, and that's it. So that's what? Maybe one here, but we'll go with here. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 players. It is a lot of players in. However, you know, we'll hopefully have the money to do it. And if not, we'll just do some loans if we can as well. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play through to the 1st of July and we'll see whether we can get some free transfers in that will help us out. Obviously, we're not going to get those just yet. We've got to wait for the 1st of July. But once that comes in, you'll be betting your bottom dollar that I'll be welcoming in some of those players on trial. And we'll see who we can pick up. And hopefully we can do it for a bit of a bargain price. Or it'll all go horribly wrong and we'll end up with a squad that's nowhere near good enough to get us through a National League season. Let's see which one it is. And just like that, we've already got Ollie Dyson through the door. We know this guy. We know he was solid enough for us. We know he's got a little bit of room to grow as well. I'm really happy just to confirm this one. We know he was good. Ollie Dyson is back. I don't know whether he'll be joining us straight away or if it will be a 1st of July job. But we've had to pay some money for him, but he is going to be a solid player for us in defensive midfield. Let's make sure that he is training for it. We're not doing anything else with training. We're just making sure that he knows what he's meant to do in defensive midfield. We'll make sure that he's doing something that's going to be helpful, that role. And yeah, that one's done. So that's one of our defensive midfielders sorted. Really, really happy with that. And just like buses, 2 come along at once. The other defensive midfielder we're looking at, Liam Ravenhill, he is agreeing a deal to join us as well. This will be the majority of the limited transfer budget that we've got available used, but we will just get everything else on free transfers, which is fine. But I'm happy to confirm that one as well. Liam Ravenhill will now join the club, and that is really going to help us in terms of having a solid defensive midfield. We still need to work out the kinks of who's going to be the backups in both of those positions. But I'm really happy with that. He is a quality player, potentially good enough to be a League 2 player. I am very, very happy with him as a signing. He will be well, he'll definitely be a ball-winning midfielder, even though he's probably not the best at it. I mean, do we play him as that, or do we? I'll have a think about that and work it exactly out. But now that we've got that sorted, I mean, is he already in the squad? He is already in the squad. So straight away, we pop him there. We pop Dyson there. Look at how much better that squad looks with those two in already. I mean, seriously, that just... I feel better already. I genuinely do. Genuinely do. Right, let's change your position role duty. We changed it to what we had it on as before. No, we're going to commit to you being the defensive midfielder. We'll have Ravenhill be the one getting further forward. He is definitely more attack-minded. And, yeah, I'm really, really happy with those two as a pair in there. Oh, my word. Goodness, I'm very happy with that. And then when we eventually get Ferguson coming into that midfield role as well, oh, my word. It's all coming together, he says, hopefully. Contract-wise, we have sorted a couple of them out. Ledger is staying, as is Richards as well. They're sorted, that's absolutely fine. I haven't done anything with Lennon yet. I know for a fact we're not going to be able to sign him. Wage-wise, we haven't got a lot left, so what I might do is just pump all of it into wages. Doesn't give us a lot, but it gives us enough, maybe 1 or 2 players. But then we have everything else that happens as well in terms of players being released. So let's have a quick check of that, actually. So looking at the players who we still have to work contracts out regarding. Obviously, ignore these 3 at the moment. We may come back to Charlie Lennon. Callum Ross, that's 400 quid gone. Matt Dolan, that's another 1,400. So that's 1,800 quid saved there. Rob Ramshaw, 800 quid. That is £2,600 altogether. Nathan McGinley's going. That's another couple of thousand. We've got a lot of money just on those players there. I'm not worried about us being able to afford players. This young player means absolutely nothing as well. Once we get to the point of releasing these players, we will have money to burn in terms of wage budget. And some of that could even become a transfer budget as well. So I'm not too worried about that. In terms of the players who are definitely staying, we've got this little roster of players plus Ferguson who are going to be remaining at the club for definite. A lot of them are very, very good players. We do still need to sort out Ben Beals. We still need to sort out the goalkeeper situation. Isaac Fletcher we need to sort as well. There are some things we need to work out. I'm going to go and try and work them out. Okay, it is the 1st of July, and as you'd probably expect from me, we've got a lot of trialists in. I'll show you all of them in a moment. The big news is we're really struggling to get Charlie Lennon back in, and we're not going to be able to afford to sign him. And unless Middlesbrough change their mind about loaning him, despite the fact he's on the loan list, we're not going to get him. It's as simple as that. So we're going to turn attention elsewhere. Now, currently, in terms of money available, obviously transfer budget is nil. But because and now all of the players that were going to be out of contract have left, we've now got £6,500 a week to spend on players. Now, players who have left do include Mitchell, our goalkeeper, and obviously McKinley, who was our left back, who was going to go anyway. Now you can see these are all the players who have rejected us on trials. I had to think about it then. This guy, he still hasn't signed a contract. He's still out of contract. So the thing is, we don't need him. The reason I'm looking at him is because actually I did notice that he played well for them last season. I've just seen he doesn't like big games. He's inconsistent. We want to try and move away from that. But you can see there's a few bigger names in here from Premier League clubs that I've tried to be cheeky with that I was very much expecting to fail on. So, in terms of the squad, we've got a long old list of players who are out of contract. Jonathan Mitchell is still here, though, which is a bit confusing. He is still here, I think, until we actually release him. Now, I'd rather keep him. But when we go in to negotiate with him, I mean, obviously, I'd like him to go down to important player, but he doesn't. He wants so much money from us. Which, here's the thing. We can afford it, but I'm also like, is there a better goalkeeper for cheaper out there? That means we don't have to pay that money. So, I'm holding off on this at the moment, because we can come back to it. So, these are the players that we brought in on trial. And as you can see, most of them look pretty fantastic, actually. All of them, bar one, as far as I can see, just eyeballing it, are 2, actually. I've just seen another one, are 3-star or higher. And all of them have got 3-star or more potential. Some of them even got close to 5-star for this level as well. So, it is what it is. Now, Luke Hutchinson is a goalkeeper that has caught my eye. Now, the only thing with goalkeeper is we're actually good with goalkeeper in terms of personnel. We managed to re-sign both of our goalkeepers, Bradley James and Henry Popple, for less than what they were on. Henry Popple was on £1,000. He's accepted a deal for £450 a week for 2 seasons. So we don't need to worry about him. He's dealt with. He's done. And that's helped us get a bit more money in to sign some free players. And then we've got Bradley James. Now, I'm thinking we loan Bradley James out, bring in someone else, and Henry Popple becomes the backup. Is what I'm thinking. In which case, maybe we give Luke Hutchinson a chance. So there's maybe one signing that we didn't even know we needed that we could look at. Now, Cairo Mitchell is consistency does it for him. This is the only thing. I haven't looked at all of their traits at the moment. So I'm just having a look through it now. Now, he hasn't got any issues apart from being potentially injury prone, but I can deal with that. He would be a decent defensive midfielder. So let's have him in as a potential defensive midfielder, maybe going a bit further forward. So there's one person we might look at in terms of a signing. Let's have a look. There was another good defensive midfielder somewhere. I mean, this guy is a good central defender. 6'6", don't you know? Hello. Get there. We want to look at you, sir. Winger, Jason Law. He could be decent. Doesn't like big games, but he wouldn't be a starter necessarily. So I am tempted by him. Now, Amari Benjamin, funnily enough, I've used Amari Benjamin before, but I think he's got worse in the game. His finishing certainly looks a lot worse. We'll maybe hang off of him and not use him initially. Left back, we could use this guy. Bit injury prone, but he'd be okay. Oliver Bainbridge, let's pop him as a backup left back at the moment. I'm sure there's a couple of right backs, in fact. Reagan Riley was one of them, but he can also play midfield. Doesn't like big games, but again, if we count him as a defensive midfielder, he could almost count as a backup defensive midfielder. I almost don't mind if he's not a big game player. Zico Asare, I don't know whether he's 2.5 star or 3 star. He's a bit injury prone, but he could come in as another right back. And then we've got the wingers. So Jason Law is one of them. Doesn't like big games. We've already looked at him. I'm not too sure about him. Callum, where was his name? Callum Dolan. Yeah, that's his name. Doesn't like big games. That puts me off of him. Nathan Simpson, winger. No issues with big games. He's relatively quick. He's not that great on the ball, but he's relatively quick. I would be drawn towards him just for a bit of fun because of his pace, just because of the ability that he has. Tyler Denson's a right back who doesn't like big games, but he likes big games more than some of the other ones, so he could be an option as well. Wesley is a striker. Don't necessarily need another striker, but if we did need one, he could be one, so let's pop him there for now. And I think we've gone through the majority of these players. We've got Tom Lavery. He would be a north-south leading player. I think that means he'd be decent, to be fair, because a lot of our players said that last season and they were still good. Which leaves a lot of these players on the list here who are a little bit inconsistent. And maybe aren't necessarily good at the big games. These may be the players that we ignore. Ben Tollett is someone I haven't looked at, actually. 30 years old. Is he a bit too old? I don't know, but let's pop him on. Just in case. And I think with everyone there, we'd have a squad and a bit if we signed all of those players. So maybe we go with that as the roster to go with to begin with. Let's get some of these players in the starting 11 just to see how they look and see if they fit into everything. I'm sure they will, to be fair, but let's do that. So Bainbridge would be a left back. Let's pop him in the starting 11. He would prefer to be a wing back, actually, but we'll keep him as a full back on support for now. Just don't want to upset the flow of the team. Let's pop in this Adam Long, who is left-footed, so make sure he's on the right side. We'll pop in the two new midfielders, just see how they look initially. Walker does like to pass the ball. Keep him there. Riley's going to be the more defensive-minded, I think. Yes, he is. That's fine. I think we're going to look at signing those two, I think, definitely. And then the wingers, I think Simpson and Tollett would be more than capable. More than capable. They'll do the job. Maybe not spectacularly, but I don't necessarily need spectacular. I need consistent. And that's a rotated 11 almost. I mean, if we're doing a full rotation, then let's put in Fletcher, put Simpson in, put Toilet in. He prefers to be on the left. We'll keep him as a winger. And Simpson, he prefers to be on the right. Keep them that way around and take Taylor out for Harris. That's a rotated 11. Tell you what, we'll put Harris as a pressing forward for this season. That's a rotated 11, and he looks about as strong as our 11 from last season. If these players look as good as they are, I think we try and sign all of them. I think we've done a really, really good job. And I haven't even gone to my director of football yet. So let's have a quick chat with him and see if he recommends anyone. Oliver Byrne, I don't know who you are. Ryan Boot, I don't know who you are. And Lagley, I don't know who you are. Okay, fine. Right back, I think we definitely need to look at. Okay, we've got some options there. Let's have a look at left back as well. Options there too. We need centre back, probably one or two. Okay, we've got some options there. Let's have a look at defensive mid. A few options there. I'll go through these off camera just so it doesn't take too much time. On the wing, got a few options there. Other side of the wing, a few options there. We don't need attacking mid, but there's no harm in looking. And then last but not least, striker. And again, we don't necessarily need that, but we can always have a look. Right, I'll go through those. I'll put some trial offers out to them, and then we'll see what we get in terms of signings. But the trial players that we've already got in all look more than good enough. Like, if that was our squad for the season, squad of 24, I'd be delighted with that. It's just whether 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we can get those 10 players in for £6.5 each, I mean, that's going to be, I don't know, just over 500 quid a player. If some of them are happy to go lower, then some of them can go higher. So that's the other thing. Right. Leave that with me. I'm going to have a look and see what we can do. And then worst case, we'll have a look at loans and see if we can get some more free loans in. So rather than go through all of the players who we've signed, who, let's be honest, we're not really going to know the names of until we start actually using them, I decided to bring us back before the first game of the season against Morecambe. Morecambe, who, by the way, may have got relegated from League 2 last season. So this is a proper one end of the scale to the other. So this is going to be a real test. We're obviously not playing that now. That's going to be in the next video. But we have made some transfers. Now, if I go on to transfer history and show you the players that we've brought in. So from here onwards is going to be where we've brought the players in. So Ollie Dyson, we know he's come in. He's come in from York, who we had him on loan from before. He's come in as a midfielder, £37,500. Liam Ravenhill cost us a lot of money. And we also got Hooper out of the door. But he definitely, I think, is going to be some player for us as a midfielder. An absolute maestro, hopefully. He'll be really, really good. JJ Hooper apparently joined the club at this point. He didn't. He left it. That's a bug. Alex Ferguson, not that one, came in on a free transfer as well. Now, you know about all of these ones. So let's go through the ones you don't know about. I think you might know about this one. Dan Langley, goalkeeper. He's come in on a free transfer. All of these are free transfers, to be fair. But he came in first about the trialists that we got. And he came in effectively from this club, Morpeth, who are in England's Northern Premier League, apparently. So that's where they are. He has actually played for Spennymoor Town previously. I've done this a couple of times. Had a loan deal with us at some point. But has also been a Newcastle goalkeeper. Didn't make it at Newcastle, but he's hopefully going to make it for us. So fingers crossed he has a good year. He had a good year last season, apparently, even though they're not in the game. We then signed Lewis Banks as a defender. He is going to be our new right back, our new starting right back. He is not spectacular, but he's 3-star, 3-star. He is a good player for Vanarama National League. So we know 3-star is around a good player. He'll do a fine job for us. He's nothing spectacular, but he will run up and down that line as much as we need him to. He'll be absolutely fine. I am quite happy with him. On a free, but he previously played for Altrincham in the National League. He actually started his career at Stoke as well. So good to see that he's obviously a good player. He's got a bit of international pedigree, having played in the Irish League as well. We then brought in Jack Hunter. This was really more to fill a gap. He's not the best midfielder in the world. He is more of a National League North player, but he's a leading National League North player. I'm quite content with the fact that he can probably be a decent National League defensive midfielder. He's 27 years old. He's not going to get much better, but again, he can fill a gap. He'll be a good cover player. And again, consistency in big matches, not a problem. You'll notice that is a bit of a trend. Ben Ward is the next player we brought in. We've brought him in as a centre-back, but he can cover centre-back, left-back, central defensive midfielder. If we play with a central midfielder, he can do that as well. He's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. He has come in on a free transfer previously from Aldershot in the National League, where he played last season. He started at Hastings and then actually did have a bit of time at Burnley before going to Swindon, then to Aldershot, and now with us after being released. And I think he's a bit of a player. And then the final player that we've signed, right back who can play as a defensive midfielder, he will probably be playing as a defensive midfielder for us, is Regan Riley. Now, this is one that does not like big matches, but we have brought him in, and I think he will be absolutely fine for us. Not the quickest in the world, but he'll fill that middle gap absolutely fine. Because remember, we've already really got our starting central midfield pair, so I'm quite happy for him to be a backup. And as it stands at the moment, that is it, and that is the squad as it's looking. Now, there are a couple of other players that we're looking at. Now, I don't necessarily know. The fact none of them are on here because their trials have expired. So we'll go to transfers and have a quick look. So in terms of transfers in, these are the 3 players we're looking at. We still need a left back, in my opinion. We still need a left back. Harvey Araujo is the guy I'm looking at. He is a loaned left back from Fulham who wouldn't cost us very much at all. This is purely because I need a body there, because we can sort of fudge it and cover it if we need to. But if we can get him in, I'd be very happy. And then we're also looking at Sean Mavididi. Now, I looked at this guy. Let me just make sure I got his name right. Mavididi. Yes, I did. We looked at this guy last season, and we put an offer in for him, but Coventry got him before us. So we put an offer in. Hopefully, he will come to us. I don't know how he's going to be, but the fact that he went to Coventry, who are a championship side, suggests to me, even though he hasn't played a game, that he must have something about him. And he's also formerly of Arsenal and Newcastle. So fingers crossed he'll do a job. And then the final one, someone I'm familiar with from last year's My Career, is Amari Benjamin. So we've put an offer in for him on a trial. It's not that much money. I don't think anyone else has gone in for him either. They haven't. So, but there are teams interested in him. But we're hopefully going to get him in. He's not going to be a striker for us. He will literally just be an energetic winger, and he'll be a cover there. And once we've got, hopefully, those 3 players in, we should be okay. We'll have, at the moment, we've got Ben Ward playing as a left-back. We will have Staunton as left-back, as well as the new guy. We'll have Banks as a right-back, as well as Ledger. We will have Yanni and Burke, as well as... where are they? Popple, not Popple. Beals and... Who's the other guy? Do we have another defender? Oh yeah, Ben Ward. I forgot about Ben Ward completely. So Yanni, Burke, Ward and Beals. Solid defence, I think. Then defensive midfield would be Ravenhill, Dyson, Hunter and Riley. Attacking midfield, it's Ferguson and Fletcher. We've got Richards, Ben Al-Mahani. This might be the position we need someone else, actually. I knew there was one position that I'd forgotten about. Winger is a position we still need one extra body in. But then striker, we know that we've got Glenn Taylor as well as Will Harris. So, winger is the other option. We've got Amari Benjamin coming in, but we do need a 4th midfielder as well. 4th wide player, which... It's proven to be difficult to find all of these players. I think he'll be another loan one if we can get him. I'm still holding out hope that we can get Lennon back, but I don't think it's going to happen. The club are rejecting all my advances whenever I look at a loan deal, so we might just have to settle with what we've got. But I think what we've got is going to be okay. Now, I haven't looked at this yet. Let's have a look at the season preview. Mid-table, I'd take that. We've done mid-table before, and we've got promoted when we've played in this save, so it's possible that we can do even better than that. Now, what I will say is, you've not seen some of the players we put offers in for. There were players we had on trial who were 4.5 to 5-star potential for this level. We put contracts in for them, but then the vultures from League 1 and League 2 pounced, and we just can't compete with that once they come in. So it is a bit of a problem. Now, Langley was one of those players. I thought we weren't going to get him, but we have done. But the others we need to kind of get in. I mean, if we get those other players in, we're looking at a really, really strong squad. As it stands at the moment, not including the trialists, we've got a squad of 19. We add the others in, it's 22. I'd like 1 or 2 more players potentially. But I'm quite happy with what we've got. Now, these guys down here are okay, but he doesn't like big games. He doesn't like big games. He doesn't like big games and is inconsistent. He would be okay, but I don't necessarily know what position he would fill in. We've already got attacking midfielders, so we don't necessarily need him as good as he is. Bradley James is a goalkeeper. I'd like to loan him out. And Lewis Baines is really not liking big games, although I would still kind of like him anyway. But yeah, out of all of those, the one I'd probably look at is Elliot Osborne, because he just looks really, really good. But we don't need him because we've already covered the positions. So I think we'll probably move away from these trialists. I mean, Spencer looks good though. That's the only problem. He actually looks pretty good. He's relatively tall. He's not too slow. His heading's good. Tackling is not particularly great. His position is not really great. And I've talked myself out of it. I'm quite happy with the squad that we've got so far. We just need to put those final 3 or 4 touches on, and then I think we're good to go. We can loan out Bradley James. That would be great as well. But we'll see what will happen. Right, in the next video, you are going to see me play against both Morecambe and Woking. Morecambe, as I said before, last season, they finished in the League 2 relegation zone. This season, they're back here. It's been a long time since they've been back here. They've been a League One side more recently than they've been a National League side. I'm a touch worried. I'm not going to lie. I am a touch worried. We are actually predicted to lose that with both the board and the fans. And then Woking, solid National League team. They've not really done a lot for a long time. And actually, when they have been in other leagues before, it's been lower leagues. So they have been National League for quite some time. They finished quite near the bottom. We should be able to beat them, especially as that one is a home game, I do believe. Yes, it is. So we'll start at Morecambe and we'll see what happens. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a big like on there for me. And do not forget to subscribe as well. It is completely free to do so. And you'll make me a very happy chap. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.